Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me once again. You're always most welcome. Well, I have just put a small selection of the latest goodies from ICM amongst others. And I think you've already seen probably the Black Hawk helicopter, which is brand new and very much anticipated and was fantastic. But today, I'm not actually going to look at these other models just yet. We're going to save those for another day. But we've got the Wehrmacht armoured vehicles with these sort of armoured cars and Hanomag half-track and like communications commanders little tank, as they say in a lower. And then we've got, on the other side, we've got more Wehrmacht stuff. We've got the Truppenluftgeschützwagen. So that basically means it's a half-track anti-aircraft wagon, basically. Very interesting. So it's got the Flak 38, the 220mm anti-aircraft gun in it, which we've seen in another format on its own, of course. Now they've made it into a vehicle. Again, within a matter of weeks, ICM have triumphed again, and they've got one brand new tool, and they've made one brand new tool into another, but with combinations, something new has been created again. Anyway, we'll look at that separately on another day. Today we're going to concentrate on their new catalogue for 2025. Now, some of you may have seen this online, of course. But let's have a look at the actual catalogue. It's literally, this is the first time I've opened it, so I've not seen the interior of this. It's still sealed. We've got to have a look at it. Nice bag. We've got some nice bags, don't we? Some of the best bags in the industry. Also the loudest though. The only downside. So here we go. Oh, look at that. So what we've got here. Now this goes right back to my earlier career, you could say, because when you look at the way they finished this, what we've got here is basically a matte laminated catalogue. Yeah, it's matte laminated polypropylene finish film on the top, and then they've spot UV varnished all the main highlights with the ICM logo and the handling page Hamden and the catalogue writing. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? It's a really nice catalogue actually. You know, and I get this for free. I don't have to pay for it. Isn't that lovely? So let's zoom back a bit and let's have a little look at this. Now this is, I know it's never easy to look at a physical catalogue in this way, but I just think it's nicer, isn't it, to sort of, you know, for me to open it live and you get my thoughts, which is what I'm doing. I haven't opened it before. It's got that smell as well, you can tell it's new. So here we go, catalogue 2025. The handling page Hamden B Mark 1 British World War II bomber. There we go. So let me zoom you in, and I'll sort of half zoom you in, so I can sort of interject, so you get a bit of a feel for what it's like. Here we go. So we've got a whole load of new versions of the Tahi. We've got the existing version, of course, the standard version, we've got the version with the big military pod. There's a landing mat you can have for it. There's going to be the universal pod again in different colours this time. The Ericsson Sky Crane version looks cool. With and without pod, they're doing two versions of it. Look, that's fantastic. All 35th. So it's an absolute behemoth of a kit. This is a right monster, I can tell you. Then you've got the one which I've done the versions that I've done reviews on all three of these, and that is the Tahi with the 121 bomb, combat base at Pubai, and the universal military pod version there. They do all these wonderful Cobras, 35th scale Cobras, various versions. They've got the G, the early production, the G late production, and they've got the helicopter pilots, the ground personnel from the Vietnam War. Absolutely brilliant, really good. These are lovely sets, these Vietnam War sets. And then I won't dwell on some of these so much, because a lot of these are, this is older tool stuff, so I'll sort of skip over because we've seen it before already. We'll really focus on the newer items. Now we've got this HS123, which has been one of these that's been a bit delayed, I'm afraid, with some of the problems in ICM, Ukraine generally, you know, with staffing and things like that. Was intended for last year, it's been held back. So we should see that, I think, by the middle of the year, hopefully all being well. But then we've got, look at this. Hey, this is going to give your old Matchboxes a run for its money. What am I saying? I mustn't say that, Matchbox. Matchbox had to be worshipped, but look at what ICM are doing now. I've got divided loyalties. Look at this. They're doing a 32nd scale, yeah, Tiger Moth of the World Air Forces. And of course, this Tiger Moth was sold to Belgium, France, America, I think it's Malta and Sweden. Is it Malta? I think it's Malta. And Sweden. Look at that! That's absolutely cool. A tiger moth. So it's not obviously it's not new too. It's just a new version basically. Then going back to the Henschel, the HS123, you've got 3 versions coming through. The Legion Condor, which of course was the basically the Luftwaffe in disguise, you might say, in the Spanish Civil War. So they didn't have the normal German markings; they're the Legion Condor markings. Then there's a standard German version, and then there's a version that's got basically bombs as an attack aircraft. They've got it with bombs and a tank underslung. Very nice indeed. Coming soon. Zoom you back again for this. So then a quick scan through these. Most of these we've seen before. Early production in German markings. Is that a different version? No, it's not. It's the same version. Just basically the figures and the 30-second scale. And there are some interesting ones, aren't there here? An interesting one. Now, they did say to me that they were going to be producing in the fullness of time. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. So basically, you've got all their figures ranges, and they've got seated pilots, Axis pilots, Allies pilots in the cockpit. Something we don't get from most of the manufacturers, and I think this is really worth highlighting. There they go. So you can buy these from ICM. German pilots and Allied pilots there. Pilots in tropical uniform. You've got helicopter pilots, RAF cadets, naval aviation pilots. These are standing ones, of course. And then you've got their older sort of catalogue coming in here. 48 scale aircraft. Quite a few Spitfires, Mustangs, etc. And then we've got some new items. Now this is not so much a new tool as such, but it's the Ju-88, but this time in RAF, USAF and RAF colours, having been captured by the Royal Air Force and the Brits and the Americans. So that's going to be quite interesting to see in that particular trim. So that's going to be new decals basically. I think is what we're getting there. There may be a new sprue. I'm not sure. And then we have got something that is new. That's that I forgot to mention. I was told about this by Valeria Bazzina, who is the MD of ICM, of course. She did mention this to me. It completely slipped my mind when I was talking to everybody recently about this, and I think I was on Jason's show, and after I come off the show I thought, you didn't mention the Dornier. And it was too late then. So they're doing this Dornier 217, which is this development of the 117, and a much bigger, huge sort of glasshouse cockpit area. I think you're going to need a mask set for this one, I've got to be honest. So they're doing it in 2 versions. I think one of them, there's an M1 and a K1. Not quite sure the differences. I think the M1 is more of a night fighter style. I think it was used maybe as an anti-shipping role as well, but not sure. But this has got new parts. So obviously you've got some parts from the 117, and you've obviously got a lot of. There'll be a couple of new sprues at least, I think, there for the different cockpit area and the modifications that went on to make it the 217. Things like the wings and the tail, basically from the 117, which you can see over there. So that's something coming through soon. Then we've got the captured Heinkel now in RAF colours. So another variation. I have to say, of more interest to me are these two, which of course is the one that we were hoping to see. Well, they said 2025 anyway, to be fair to them. But this in desert colours, we've got the Henschel HS129B2. So this is the ground attack anti-tank aircraft, and then so that we've got it basically in 2 versions. We've got the version that's going to be on the desert campaign in North Africa, and then what looks like the Eastern Front. So here we've got some burning British tanks, which is very upsetting, and then there's some burning Soviet tanks underneath. Coming soon. Then we're flicking through here, we've got some that we've seen before. So we've got the Sally bombers, which are lovely kits, including the one that's got all the crew with it, and ground personnel and crew. Then we've got the Bronco, another excellent kit. There's the limited edition landing mat version of the Cobra, which I covered recently. You've got the Counter Invader, which they did as a special set, didn't they? Which was it the Nakhon Phanom Air Base, I think it was. Then we go on to the Marauder, and they're going to bring out yet another version, actually a French, this time with new decals in French markings, because the French use them as well. Another one that's called Conquerors of Europe. There's quite a lot of variations there. They're getting their money's worth. It's like a McDonald's advert, isn't it? The Conquerors of Europe Sky, and then the RAF and the South African Air Force version of the bomber. Airfield of the American Bomber Group. Now that's interesting. That's one to watch out for at the bottom, because what that means, it'll come with crew and it'll come with all sorts of equipment and bombs and all sorts of things. When they do, this is going to be one of those diorama sets. Airfield of the American Bomber Group. You should watch out for that. This was, of course, Kit of the Year from me, 2024. Beautiful kit and a lovely example. There's a nice photo there as well of a finished model, which looks great. And they're doing another version here that's in the sort of plain silver finish. So they're doing lots of different versions. I don't complain them. Of course, there's flak bait, which I did recently just before Christmas. My personal favourite was this one, of course, the D-Day 80 celebration one that came with the crew. But when it comes with all these bombs and things, I think that's going to be even better probably, so watch out for that one. We've got some World War II Marston mat. Now that's a new item, new tool, new molds, there you go. That's worth looking out for, that'll be very cool to go with your Thunderbolts and your Marauders and Mustangs. 48 scale. Then we've got, go back a bit, then we've got all the Black Hawks. So we've got the Black Hawk that I've just reviewed here, the first one. There's actually going to be 4 variants by the look of it. We've got the Black Hawk, the US military version, that's the MH60A. They've got the one that's in Ukrainian service, which is another 60A. And then there's going to be Operation Gothic Serpent, which I think there's an Afghan, I could be wrong, but I think it's an Afghanistan operation. So another sort of special decals version. Then we've got the, coming through very soon actually, we've got the Bristol Beaufort torpedo bomber version with the torpedo. And then we get into the Hampden then, and Beauforts and Hampdens. And this Hampden is the one that's the big headline kit of the year from ICM in terms of that's their premium sort of announced kit. 48 scale Hampden bomber. People have often talked and said recently, I'm a bit surprised Airfix didn't do this already, but anyway, there we go. They've been beaten to it. And we've got what looks like a beautiful torpedo version as well. Look at that. That's going to be something I'm going to look forward to reviewing very soon, although I don't think we'll have it through for, I don't know, 3-4 months at least. Then we've got some of the older stuff, which I'll flick past because we've seen this again and again, many times. But look at this. Now this is what I promised people, and people didn't really pay attention or didn't notice me talking about it. We've got the Marauder crew, which is what Valeria promised me when I was at Telford talking to her, and then we've got here the Black Hawk crew. Absolutely fantastic. Now the Marauder crew, as I understand it, they haven't actually probably tooled them yet. I think they're going to be, sitting in flight. So although it shows them there standing, I don't think it'll be like that. It'll actually be in the aircraft. And of course, there's all these sets you can get where you can get the various 48 scale crews, and I've used some of these. Many of you have seen them in my dioramas. They're absolutely fantastic. Definitely something to watch out for. That Marauder crew will be worth having, because a lot of you bought that Marauder, I know. Something that I think a lot of us are really looking forward to having. So that and the Black Hawk crew, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? Both of those, they're going to sell like hotcakes, I suspect. And you'd be paying probably £15 or under, I would imagine, for those. So it's not going to cost much money. Now we've got something that is new. They've got a couple of new parts and new variants here. We've got an F-16. F-16 Viper with new parts for the Ukrainian service. Also we've got JDAM version of the MiG-29, so that's also an interesting development, currently obviously very much in current service. And then flicking through again, we've got quite a few here that I think we have already seen before. We include the Broncos and the various versions of the Sally. I mean, that catalogue's becoming huge. It's getting like Airfix's catalogue. It's really expanding rapidly, isn't it? And then we talked about the Marston mat. So here it is, the Marston matting, and there's actually this is at 72nd scale though. Now that'll be an addition, a real welcome addition to anybody's 72nd scale kits as well. So you've got the US landing mat as they used in Vietnam onwards, and the Marston World War II landing mat Isn't that cool? That is very interesting. Then of course we've got the stands. I recently did a review of those, which are very nice and extremely cheap as well. And they've got a couple of cars here that are snap fit, so competing with Airfix a little bit there, but different subjects obviously, which is fine. Then we've got lots and lots of vehicles, particularly some of the ex-Soviet type trucks. Lots of those, of course, currently in service, very contemporary. There's actually one there with the Katusha. Oh, it's a Grad. I was going to say Katusha. The Grad rocket launcher. Then we've got a couple of new ones. So this is from the current conflict, and we have got a trailer, which I think is a communications trailer, basically. Armed Forces of Ukraine. That looks very, very interesting. Yeah, I like the look of that one. And then there's another ZIL truck. This time it's got a mounted machine gun on it. Interesting as well. Different. And here we've got a German. I mean, this really is an interesting one, which I haven't seen before. So we've got the German Marder, which is an armoured personnel carrier, very like the Bradley. Well, it's armoured personnel carrier. It's really fighting vehicle. And we've got a new Bradley coming through as well. Now, it says new. I'm not sure if that's new too or if it's a retool, because who's the other one that does this really nicely? Mine's gone blank. Recently been doing a beautiful Bradley. It wasn't Great Wall Hobby, was it? Was it Magic Factory? Can't remember. But we've had a very nice Bradley come out this year. Was it Meng? Border, I think. Brain's going. It's too much red wine. Then we've got these interesting US Civil War figures, which we have seen before. And we've got some nice World War I, including the many gas masks. Very, very good. I like the Marder and the Bradley. There's actually two versions of the Bradley. Yeah, look at that. So I've just got this hunch. I need to check that, but I don't know whether it's actually new. It doesn't say new moulds. So I just got a feeling that it might be either a variant or it may be a reboxing. It may be from Revell even. I've just got a suspicion. Then we've got a lot of the World War I stuff, which many of you have seen before. We've got the World War II, so the Feldkucher field kitchen, which was very popular, of course, in my review. Everybody was laughing about that one with the Wurst sausages. And then we get into a lot. They've got some wonderful figures now, ICM. Some of these are just absolutely brilliant, aren't they? You know, here's the You Important to God, Prayer Before Battle. Got Montgomery and his senior generals, British Vickers gun crew. This is on the 35th, of course. Over here you've got those anti-aircraft flat guns, the 20mm flat guns that I reviewed recently. Of course, I'll be doing another one of those, the one that's on the back of the half-track truck. Then we have the American Cooks. I like the way they're presenting this as well. A much nicer, more professional way of doing it. Looking really good, this catalogue is, I've got to be honest. You should get yourself one of these. Recommend it. And then we've got something new, some new mould items. So we've got chevrons for the personal camouflage and chevrons of the Armed Forces of Ukraine set. You've got the DS HKM machine gun on a tripod, heavy duty machine gun. And then look at this. Dragon's Teeth anti-tank obstacles, all in 35th scale. That's really cool. Those are cool. And then what have we got? We've got another variation of the Hanomag here, the 2511. This time looks like it's on the Eastern Front. That's coming through soon. I think you'll see that relatively soon, probably the first half of, I won't say first quarter, but maybe the first half of the year. Obviously we've got this one already, which I've just said has just come out, and it's kind of a variation. It's almost a dueling of two kits, isn't it, to make it just like the real thing with the anti-aircraft gun and the vehicle. It doesn't say new on it, which it should actually, because it is a new release. No, I missed that. And then we've got the Panzerpaarwagen, which is basically a little tank, armoured car really. A Panhard, isn't it? Is it based on a Panhard? Yeah. Is it a Panhard? Funk. Funk is radio, of course. It's a radio. This is a radio version. armoured command vehicle. And there's going to be several versions of that, but that's new with the radio top on it. And then we've got the... I know that's really confusing actually. I'm just a little bit confused. Is that the same as that? 5.5. There's another version here of the Truppen Luftwagen, which is the anti-aircraft wagon. I think it's probably an African version of it. I think they're going to do two versions. This time it does say new. So you can see how it's a little tiny confusing. It's got new... Oh, there you go. This one was inevitable. I predicted it, didn't I? When I did my review, I think I said this would be coming. Goulash Canon lorry with the cooks and the stove all together. And that makes absolute perfect sense. Fully expecting the American version to be coming out before too long as well. Again, it's inevitable, isn't it? We've got Monty's Office Caravan here. Montgomery's Leyland Retriever. And then there's going to be a version of it again, inevitably, with staff. So, you know, you pay your money, you take your choice with these. You can just buy the basic vehicle, or you can have it with the figures. So it just comes down to whether you like doing figures or not, really, doesn't it, to be honest? And again, confession before the fight, where you've got the chapel, which I rated at number 10. 10th, came 10th in Kits of the Year. It came very high, actually. I was very impressed with it. And now you've got the Padre and the grinning Padre, who I said looked a little bit under the influence, if you remember. With the very serious and concerned soldiers taking a blessing. And then, of course, you've got all these other ones we've seen this year. The various trucks. So, mobile chapel complete with men. Whoops. Flicking through a bit too fast then. You've got the ZIL vehicle. This is the one I think we saw earlier, but now the ZIL with the actual crew member as well, the Armed Forces of Ukraine. You've got the Kamaz truck, which has also got the military box truck, like an operation command box on the back, like a mobile headquarters almost. And then you've got a few of the cars. I don't see anything new happening in these, to be honest. Zoom you back a bit. I think it's the sort of same old stuff here. But they do some lovely cars. They're really nice kits, you know. And you've got the rather gloomy and slightly worrying, very dark, isn't it? The Chernobyl selection, with the rubble cleaners and the civilians evacuating, radiation checkpoint, and the poor firefighters. And the feet of divers, these brave, brave men who went into the reactor water, and I don't know what to say, you know. You can't make a joke about that. It was the most horrendous thing, you know. I mean, we get concerned and upset about the conflict at the moment, but this was horrendous, wasn't it? This is one of the worst things anybody was ever asked to do, was what some of those men went through to try and be heroes, which they certainly achieved. And a lot of them didn't survive. Most of them didn't survive. Having to go into this highly radioactive environment. Anyway, you know the story. And it's amazing, you know. It's good that ICM have celebrated them by, you know, showing these heroes in figure form. And then we have got some new cars. We've got, oh, look at this. Now, didn't somebody talk about this on my review when I was doing the Ford Phaeton? I think it was. Didn't we talk about the idea of having a gangster car? Ford A gangster car, and here it comes. Oh, this reminds me of the Untouchables. I saw that movie over the Christmas period. Oh, Road to Perdition. You see these cars in those movies, and then there's one there in German service. So this has got new parts to Ford A. It's based on the A class Ford Model A convertible. Well, they call it the Phaeton, don't they? Ford A Phaeton soft top, because there it is over there, which we reviewed this year. Lovely kit, lovely kit. But I like the gangster car where they've got bags. And there's a Thompson. I'm going to zoom in. This is what I'm sure that somebody's spying on me from ICM. They must be listening very closely when I mention this, or looking at the comments. Can you see the Thompson submachine gun? The only thing I would say, I can't quite tell, but it looks like that's got a standard magazine, whereas they often allegedly used to use these drum magazines, didn't they? Because they could get more shots, you know. And then you've got the bag, and you've got a Colt on the ground there. Oh my goodness, or is it a Browning? I think it's a Browning. That is a very good subject for them to have done with that car. And it was absolutely begging for it. Several people in the chat, even when I did the review, were saying you could turn this into Al Capone's car or Road to Perdition, you know, where the 1920s, 1930s gangsters were operating. And then we've got a load of figures, most of which we've seen before. Submarines we have seen before. I mean, I don't want to gloss over these too much, but I did want to show you this, because this is coming very, very soon indeed. The Kaiser's Steel Fist, where you get a whole series, basically a diorama set, with 4 of these ships at 700th scale. And I believe it is the Kron Prince, basically it's the ones that you see there, in a set of 4 here. Kaiser's Steel Fist. Coming very, very soon indeed. Plus there's going to be a paint set to go with it as well. So that's going to be something to look forward to. And my buddy Jason at Model Kit Stuff will be maybe having a bit of a trouser accident when he hears about this, because yeah, I don't know if he's done any of the ICM kits. I think he has. I think he mentioned it actually. But I'm sure that'll be right up his alley. I'd be loving that. And then what we got? Then we've got the diorama sets where they now have them. Oh, okay. So they're now putting them under their own heading of diorama sets in the catalogue. Let me show you this, because I love these and I think they're very good value for money. You get a huge amount of kit for your money with these. Here they are, diorama sets. So they've got the Luftwaffe airfield with the BF-109F. It is an old tool, I've got to be honest though. Same with the RAF airfield with the Spitfire Mark 9. But then you get the more modern ones, the Vietnam airfield with the Bronco, and the OV-10 Bronco, and the O2 Cessna, the Push You Pull Me Cessna. Nakhon Phanom Air Base, which is an absolutely brilliant set. Everybody really enjoyed that, I think. And then the one that I gave, I think it was 11th in Kits of the Year, and that's the airfield of the Luftwaffe Bomber Group, which is absolutely brilliant. And then, zoom you back again, and then we get quite a few of some of the older tool items. Again, we're still all in 35th. They've got such a big range now, though, haven't they? Of these, if you're into your sort of German/Soviet subjects, this is the place to go, isn't it? They've really got a great set of them, all sorts. They've got T-34s. I built ICM's T-34. You may have seen it in the cabinet. Lovely kit, very meaty, proper robust model that. And then you've got these other diorama sets, which I will again zoom you, including the Before the Assault in Ukraine, the very contemporary one, complete with the Special Forces operatives, the Cossack 2 armoured vehicle, the driver, the crew, the female, the lady, service women, drone operators, and then you've got the Wehrmacht Maltiers, which we did a review on back in the spring, the Sankers, which we did back in the summer, Panzerwaffe Steel Cats, which we did in the autumn, and then the Wehrmacht armoured vehicles, which we're going to do very, very soon indeed. And then another new one, look, another combo set, rather than new tool. Self-propelled AA guns of the Wehrmacht. Look at that, that's a good set. I wonder what these are going to retail for. I'm thinking they're going to be about the £75 mark, something like that, £75–80. And again, American set then, American trucks, US military vehicles, vehicles of the DAK. Now I know that one of my subscribers, Stuart, is very interested in this, so we'll definitely be reviewing that when it comes out. Not going to be until summer though, better tell you. And then we've got Miracle on the Marne, which is of course the story from the First World War with the French army versus the Germans. And then the Drone Hunters in Ukraine. Ukraine's anti-drone operations, that's quite interesting. Complete with a anti-drone gun, I'm not quite sure what to call it, and you've got your Humvee there as well. Wow, Battle of Malta, where you've got an Italian an Aeromacchi and a Gloucester Gladiator, and the various Tin Lizzie, which is the 4T, isn't it? 4T variants, that's interesting as well. So they're very good at doing these combo sets, I've got to say. It makes me wonder why the manufacturers don't do this, especially if times are tough and you can't afford to do massive projects and have the investment for lots of glamorous new tools. Why don't you do, I'm talking to Airfix, I'm talking to Revell, even Tamiya. Not sure why you don't do something like this. These combo sets are brilliant, especially for dioramas. And those people that love diorama sets and figures, they're in their element when they get these. It's a really good value proposition. And then as you get to the end, you've got the acrylic paint sets, which are very, very good. I'm going to be using some of those very, very soon, in fact. And they're saying you should really try them. I know that Jason at Model Kit Stuff, I was talking to him about, he'd done some figures, the British Army infantry set he did, which I think were dragon figures. And he seemed to be having a very good experience, and he was using the ICM acrylics for things like the facial type, working brilliantly. So I can tell you that there's definitely worth trying, seriously. And that's coming from somebody other than me, and Jason doesn't get ICM kits, for free or anything like that. So him saying that means it must be pretty good, and I'm going to give him a go myself. Then you got the various sets where they have the combo sets. I've frequently shown you these, of course, these paint sets. And then it's just got the listing at the end. And then finally, I don't know if we're going to do... Okay, they're not doing what they did last year. I can understand why. So it ends with the listing like that. That's the end of the catalogue. You remember last year, they were putting at the very end that... Sorry, doing back, not forward. Putting at the very end that this is what we're going to be doing in 2025. And of course, it's been very difficult to actually achieve all the things they predicted. For example, there was this 72nd scale Sikorsky CH-54 Tahi Sky Crane helicopter. God, such a long title, hasn't it? Which is going to be slightly scaled down to 72nd scale. And that's been put a little bit on the back burner, or further down the list anyway, because they've had these manpower problems. So I think that they're a little bit nervous about making predictions like they did, given that they can't be sure. I don't think they want to overpromise, and I think they perhaps felt that they, quite accidentally, may have overpromised one, possibly two, for 2025. But all of them, pretty much apart from that Sky Crane, are in there. She did say to me it'd be 26 now. So I think it's right that they don't make too many predictions that they may not be able to keep, promises they can't keep. I think they've done it very well. It's a lovely catalogue, isn't it? I really enjoyed that. And again, there's more combos and more things that I was not expecting. So, because I say I didn't go online and look at their catalogue online. So things like the Black Hawk crew, the Marauder crew. Yes, I had inside knowledge about that, actually told me. But yeah, it's an absolutely fantastic catalogue. So that's the ICM 2025 catalogue. I know I sort of glossed over some of the older stuff, but it isn't so sort of noteworthy, shall we say. Hope you found that interesting. I think you can get this in the shops. I think it costs about £1.50, £2 and thereabouts. Correct me if I'm wrong, but definitely worth your time. And it's actually a nice catalogue, a bit like the Airfix one. It's a nice catalogue to keep. And I think they should do more of these hard copy catalogues, because I'm not one for looking online. I'd rather have that, because I can keep referring to it. At any time when I'm doing a review and I suddenly remember something, I can quickly pick it up, because I keep it here. I can just refer to it instantly. If you start having to go online, you've got to have the right, device with you, and you've got to be able to make sure you connect and all that stuff. It's just handy to have it at an arm's length and just pick it up and go, oh yeah, there it is. It's a winner, isn't it? Anyway, I hope you thought that was interesting. You found there's probably one or two things there, something almost for everybody. Even the ships, that ship set coming as a set of 4, that sounds like it might be quite expensive. I'm thinking it's going to be the best part of £90, £100, I'm guessing. But that's coming pretty soon. We're going to see that within 7 or 8 weeks, I think. So keep your eyes peeled. I said my friend Jason at Model Kit Stuff, he'll be all over that when I'm reviewing that. He'll be propositioning me to see if I can find ways for him to get his hands on it, I'm sure. We shall see. But there we go. Quite a lot of interesting things this year coming through. I hope you thought it was interesting. Hope you'll give us I'll give them a 10 out of 10 for their catalogue. 10 out of 10. Hope you give me a 10 out of 10 with a thumbs up, like. Please subscribe if you watch me from time to time. Several of you have actually said in the last 2 or 3 weeks over Christmas and New Year saying, oh yeah, I watch you all the time but I never subscribe. Please do, because we're trying to hit the 10,000 mark, and it'd be nice to have that 10,000 party show I talked about. We're definitely celebrating 10,000 subscribers, and we'll talk about some of the best. I'll do a review of some of the best and worst shows some of the best reviews I've done and some of the most disastrous reviews. Some of them are quite funny. For those of you that don't know, there's been one or two on-air accidents, shall we say, that have been quite amusing. I'll do that, and we'll talk about the fact it's 10 years on YouTube for me this year. And one or two other developments that are coming up, which I'll probably share with you. So there we are, that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed the look at the 2025 ICM catalogue. It just remains for me to say thanks for watching again. Appreciate all your time, and hope you found something there that would interest you and make you want to go out and buy one or two of these products from an excellent manufacturer, you know. That's it from me for now. Until next time, thanks very much. Take care of yourselves, and bye for now.